Today, I'm going to tell you a story. It's about how my client Sandy, which of course is her pseudonym, discovered the solution to a long-standing problem by focusing on something that was distracting her. Usually, we want to get away from whatever distracts us. But oftentimes, the very thing that disturbs your attention, the gnawing pain that won't go away, the awful person in your life, your inner critic, is the beginning of a process that contains gold, the transformative element you might never have known about without the problem. It's a crazy paradox. Hidden within the thing that messes with your attention is something awesome and life-changing, but you need the right tools to uncover it. This story will illustrate what I'm talking about. Now, I don't usually use music in my practice, but I want to tell you about Sandy's strange musical experience. She was a 46-year-old receptionist who told me she'd been depressed ever since her divorce a year earlier, and despite doing her best to get on with life, she couldn't seem to break out of her sadness. I asked her to describe her feelings in detail, and she said, quote, "I feel lost and sad and empty, but I try not to focus on it. It's such a struggle." Being the crazy contrarian I am, I suggested she focus directly on these bad feelings, but she shook her head. "Aren't you going to help me get rid of this? I don't want to focus on it." I said, "I understand. It's painful, but by exploring it, we may learn something. Let's go into it further and see where it goes. In fact, feel it even more. Exaggerate your feelings. Amplify the whole experience. Get even more lost, sad, and empty." She looked at me confused, like, what is the good doctor saying? Why would I want to make my crappy feelings worse? Isn't he supposed to help me feel better? I explained to her that going into her bad feelings will only be a temporary thing. It's a way to bring her process to the surface so we can discover the true solutions. Finally, she agreed to try. She closed her eyes, and I encouraged her to feel lost, sad, and empty, and to make these feelings even more intense. I said, really feel deeply into them. Go to their core. After a while, she opened her eyes and said, "Sorry, I'm having trouble because I'm hearing a song in my head. As soon as I go all the way into my sadness and really feel it, the song comes in and ruins my focus. It's annoying." I asked her what song it was, and she said it was an old one she hadn't heard in years, "Knocking on Heaven's Door" by Bob Dylan. I wanted to know how the song made her feel, but she said, "I don't know. I'm trying to ignore it. I can sort of make it go away, but as soon as I feel sad again, it pops back in. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door." Maybe I can't do this kind of work. My mind is all over the place. I said, "No, you're doing great. Next step is to listen really closely to the song in your head and pay attention to the feelings and thoughts that arise. What does this song do to you?" She closed her eyes again, and this time stayed like that for what felt like a long time. It was probably only about 5 minutes or so, but when you sit with someone meditating like that, it can seem like an eternity. Suddenly, she opened her eyes and broke down crying. Not a gentle weeping or whimpering type of thing, an uncontrollable, cathartic, wailing, sobbing expression. I handed her a tissue and I waited for her to compose herself.